Have you ever wondered if the life you're living is only a fraction of the life you were truly meant to live? Perhaps your greatest strength is still asleep. Every morning looked exactly the same. The same road, the same faces, the same quiet belief that nothing would ever change. Elias wasn't afraid of hard work. He was afraid that no matter how hard he tried, he would never become someone who truly mattered. The most dangerous prison has no walls. It is built from every doubt you repeat until it begins to sound like the truth. Deep inside, a silent question refused to disappear. What if life was asking for more than he had ever dared to give? Then one ordinary evening, something unusual happened. A distant sound echoed through the valley, as if destiny had quietly spoken his name. Most people ignore the moments that change their lives. They mistake them for ordinary accidents and continue walking the familiar road, but something inside Elias refused to let him turn away. Curiosity became stronger than comfort, and one uncertain step changed everything. Every meaningful journey begins before confidence arrives. It begins the moment fear loses its power to keep you standing still. Without realizing it, Elias had already crossed the first invisible boundary. The path ahead was unknown, but the person behind him was already gone. Sometimes the road that changes your life is the one that makes the least sense. You simply follow it because something inside you refuses to stop. Hidden far beyond the familiar world stood a place untouched by noise, where every spark, every hammer strike, carried the weight of purpose. The old blacksmith never looked extraordinary, yet there was something powerful about a man completely at peace with the work before him. Wisdom rarely arrives with loud speeches. Sometimes it appears as a quiet smile that invites you to discover the answer yourself. Elias expected secrets, shortcuts, perhaps even miracles. Instead, he found something far more demanding: the discipline of ordinary days. Real transformation almost never feels dramatic. It begins with simple tasks, repeated long after excitement has disappeared. We often believe progress should feel fast. Nature teaches the opposite. Mountains are shaped one season at a time, not overnight. Day after day, the work remained the same, yet without noticing, the person doing the work slowly became someone entirely different. Failure no longer whispered, "You are not enough." It quietly asked a better question: what can this mistake teach you next? Looking toward the mountains, Elias finally understood. The first victory in life is never over the world. It is over the version of yourself that chooses fear instead of growth. Growth begins the moment comfort becomes too small for your dreams. Discipline grows quietly, long before confidence ever decides to appear. Failure hurts most when your expectations grow faster than your patience. Fire never destroys strong steel. It only reveals what weaker metal cannot survive. Improvement begins the moment you stop hiding from your own mistakes. Seasons changed around Elias, but the greatest change happened deep within him. Some battles are fought with hammers. The hardest ones are fought inside ourselves. Success feels different when every scar along the journey helped create it. The blade was finished. The man who forged it was finally beginning. Growth becomes real when others notice the change before you do. Returning to your past reveals how far your mind has truly traveled. Real victory needs no audience, only quiet peace within yourself. Every greater purpose begins with accepting a greater challenge. Progress belongs to those willing to fail without losing curiosity. Old fears never disappear completely. They simply lose their authority. Confidence is built through repetition, not through perfect moments. Patience often creates what talent alone never could. The higher you climb, the smaller your excuses begin to look. Beyond every limit waits another version of who you can become. Every meaningful journey reaches a moment where no one else can walk beside you. Leaving familiar places is often the first proof that real growth has already begun. The path becomes harder because the person walking it is becoming stronger every day. Falling only becomes failure when you decide never to rise again after the In complete silence, the heart often discovers answers the mind could never find. Strength is built through countless ordinary steps that almost nobody else ever notices. The greatest leap always happens after fear convinces you to stop moving forward. The mountain never changed. Only the man standing before it became someone entirely different. Purpose appears quietly when your desire to prove yourself finally begins to disappear. The highest mountain anyone conquers will always be the one inside themselves. Elias expected a reward, but true mentors rarely offer comfort when a greater purpose is waiting ahead. The old hammer carried no special power. Its value came from the hands willing to use it. Sometimes gratitude means walking away. Trusting every lesson will guide your next unknown destination. As Elias entered the quiet village, he recognized the familiar weight of forgotten dreams in every face. The boy's frustration felt painfully familiar, reminding Elias of the person he had struggled to leave behind. This time, Elias resisted the urge to teach, choosing instead the quieter language of patient example. Every careful movement carried a message words could never fully express to another searching heart. Without realizing it, the boy had already stopped watching perfection and started believing in persistence. Only then did Elias understand the old blacksmith had always taught through actions instead of speeches. A single silent example awakened more hope than 1,000 beautiful words ever could. Elias quietly continued his journey, never realizing that his actions had already planted invisible seeds of hope. Every stranger carries a battle we cannot see, and every small kindness has the power to change it. Real leaders rarely wait for permission. They simply begin, allowing courage to speak before words ever can. One determined person often inspires another, until impossible tasks slowly become shared victories. The greatest reward isn't recognition. It's leaving a place better than you found it, then quietly moving on. Good examples travel farther than footsteps, reaching people you may never even meet. Elias finally understood that true purpose survives because ordinary people choose to carry it forward. Kindness spreads like ripples across water, touching lives long after the first act has been forgotten. With every step home, Elias sensed the journey had been preparing him for something far greater. Sometimes, the quietest places hold the answers we have spent our entire lives searching to find. Elias returned, believing someone was waiting. Instead, silence welcomed him like an old friend he never expected. Hope quietly survives when we keep believing that one familiar voice might still call our name again. He searched every path they once walked together, but only memories answered each hopeful step. Some goodbyes are never spoken, yet they leave the deepest echoes inside a grateful heart forever. While cleaning the forgotten workshop, Elias discovered that some answers appear only after we stop searching desperately. Some messages cannot be found by searching. They patiently wait until we become ready to understand them. As Elias read each line, scattered memories quietly connected into one unforgettable truth about his entire journey. Suddenly, he realized every lesson had never belonged to one man, but to a living tradition of hope. Purpose is never something we keep for ourselves. It only lives when we choose to pass it forward. The fire inside the workshop was burning again, but this time the flame also burned within Elias. Years had changed Elias, but his greatest achievement was becoming the hope he once searched for himself. Then he recognized a familiar sadness, the same silent struggle that had once lived inside his own heart. This time, he offered no advice, because true change begins with what people discover for themselves. Elias simply lived the lesson he had received, trusting that quiet actions would speak beyond his lifetime. Perhaps your purpose isn't waiting somewhere ahead. Perhaps it's waiting inside someone whose life you'll quietly change. If this story touched your heart, don't let it end here. Share it with someone who may need this reminder today. And if you believe every person carries a hidden purpose waiting to be awakened, subscribe and join us for more stories that inspire courage, wisdom, and meaningful change. Because sometimes one story can change a life.